The Blast from Our Past Network.
Lock your doors, close your windows, turn out your lights, for chills and thrills await you. It's time for Podcasting After Dark with your hosts, Corey Stevenson and Zach Schaefer. Stay with a friend, say your prayers as grisly ghouls close in to seal your doom. Tonight's episode, the Podcasting After Dark and $2 late fees crossover movie, Blue Sunshine, starring Zalman King, Deborah Winters, and Mark Goddard.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcasting After Dark. I am one half of the pad team, Corey, a.k.a. Sleazy C. Joined with me, as always, is my brother from another mother, Zach, the total snackage Schaefer. And this week, we are reviewing Blue Sunshine, 1977 by Jeff Lieberman. And this episode kicks off the official $2 late fee Podcasting After Dark crossover month. Woo!
Literally one person cheered just now, and that was you. But in my mind, we had thousands of people uproariously getting out of their seats, cheering us, doing all that stuff. It's for us.
You know what? Maybe in post, I'll go and add that cheer in the background and accentuate it.
You should. I think so. I think so because honestly, this is definitely leaning more towards our Podcasting After Dark roots. This month of crossover material, of course, we're celebrating Jeff Lieberman, whether he likes it or not. And
whether he wants to be celebrated or not.
Sorry, Jeff. Corey's got a stack of Oreos with your name on it. And I'm sitting here wondering why I'm sitting in a tent with Corey and a stack of Oreos. I have no idea. Anyway, all I know is we took a couple doses of Blue Sunshine, and who knows what's going to happen by the end of this episode.
Wait, Zach, are you wearing a wig right now?
No, why would you ask that? Why would you ask? And why are you speaking so loud? What is wrong with you? It's a disco music I hear. Oh my God!
Yeah, so like Zach said, we're celebrating Jeff Lieberman this month, and the crossover month has sort of expanded. And now we are doing, this episode's going to be more of a proper pad episode. Then we have another episode, it's a $2 late fee episode that will also be on the pad feed and vice versa. So we've decided to kind of actually give everyone two proper episodes versus having some kind of amalgamation of like one episode. And I think this works out really well. We'll also have an interview with Jeff Lieberman dropping as well. And then I think I'll be on Territory Marks by the end of the month as well. Zach still has to figure out how that's going to tie into Jeff Lieberman though.
Well, we're talking about the color blue right now. And I was like, are there any wrestlers? Because for those that don't know, and maybe you're just pad listeners and not $2 late fee listeners, Territory Marks is a wrestling podcast I do with Paul London. Paul London is a professional wrestler, actor extraordinaire, formerly of the WWE and now an indie wrestler. And we dig deep into the territory days of wrestling, specifically the 80s. And I was like, yeah, is there a wrestler that's blue? Well, there was the Blue Blazer, and that could work. That's Owen Hart. And Owen Hart, of course, was part of the Hart family with Bret the Hitman Hart. Tragically died in the ring. That's a whole other story. But
I actually was watching that pay-per-view when it happened, dude.
Whoa. Well, then there's your crossover to go along with Blue Sunshine's shocking kills and deaths in this movie. Oh God, I did not mean that. You know what I mean, guys. I'm being a little tongue in cheek. Owen Hart, very talented, unbelievably talented wrestler. He wrestled in a territory called Stampede Wrestling up in Canada. Lee, you know what I'm talking about. And he wrestled a guy named the Dynamite Kid. And Corey probably knows Dynamite Kid from the tag team, the British Bulldogs, back in the WWF days. If he doesn't,
I do not.
Well,
but Zach, why don't you save this for the Territory Marks episode, buddy?
Yeah, I'm like running into a whole
down
episode.
This rabbit hole.
Sorry. I took a dose of Blue Sunshine, and I'm like going off on tangents right now.
I mean, Zach could literally talk for the next 15 minutes about it. This episode could just turn into a Territory Marks episode.
I would talk less if you wouldn't talk so loud.
Back to Blue Sunshine. Zach, obviously, when my first time watching it was, and we'll talk about that in a second. But when did Blue Sunshine cross your path?
It crossed my path in the early 2000s. I wish it crossed my path sooner than that, but Severin, I believe, put out a DVD back in the day. And man, this is when I was like, I got into DVDs for a while, then I stopped, and then I really got back into like collecting kind of rare, hard to find stuff. And I was in Taos, New Mexico at a place called the Third Eye Film Society. They showed really avant-garde, rarely seen films. They introduced me to an Indian movie called Dilse, a Bollywood film where there's this epic, like almost 10-minute dance singing sequence on a moving train. They're on top of the train doing this dancing sequence going through tunnels. It's wild. Saw that at the Third Eye Film Society. Saw El Topo by Jodorowsky. Of course, That was my introduction to Jodorowsky. And they showed Blue Sunshine, and they were selling the DVDs there. And I got it was a double DVD. I still have it. And, it pales in comparison to the box set that came out earlier this year or the year before. Anyways, That's when I saw it in the early 2000s in Taos, New Mexico, of all places. And I was like, wow, from the minute this movie started, I was hooked into it to the moment it ended. And my love for this film has not changed in all the years. Sorry, Jeff, whether you think that's a compliment or a put down, I don't care. It's true.
Now, do you remember the VHS cover for it or anything growing up? Because I don't. I'll answer that question. Was it very prevalent in the stores back in the day?
I remember seeing the box for Squirm. I remember seeing the box for Just Before Dawn, and of course Remote Control, which is what we're going to be covering on $2 Late Fee with Grace. But never did I see the Blue Sunshine box, and my gosh, what a shame, because I wish I had discovered this in the 80s. If I did, I probably would have loved it even more. I would have found a way to own the VHS.
Yeah, so I watched it for the first time at Zach's place.
In May.
I loved it, like you said, from the word go. And now I've seen it 3 times because I watched it with Myra for funsies. She loved it too, by the way. And then watching it to break it down. And dude, it's already one of my top 20 favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love this film. I think it's so much fun, particularly for the main actor in it. But there are a lot of other ones, the guy who plays Franny and stuff like that. It's just it's not The Room level of weird, but it's definitely, people make choices in this film. People make acting choices in this film that are a bit off the wall. And I love every choice that is made in this film, especially by Zalman King.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the first 15 minutes are really what sell it, where you're like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm watching, but I cannot stop watching it. I feel like it's almost better to go into this movie cold because, it makes it even more enjoyable, where you're like, what the heck is going on a little bit,
I agree with that. 80% of this episode is going to be our breakdown, but I do agree with that statement. I think I derived so much fun from the first viewing because I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know anything about this movie other than the cover of, the Synapse box set Blu-ray or 4K.
That's
I picked
what it
up
was.
as well.
Synapse did
beautiful.
the DVD. By the way, it was Synapse that did the DVD back in the day, not Severin. I just want to clarify.
Yeah. So, all that being said, if you want to keep listening, we're going to have a lot of fun breaking this down and calling out a lot of cool shit. But I would also recommend pausing it and trying to go find it, because I don't know if it's even on Prime. I don't know where you can. Do you, Zach, know where this is streaming?
Yeah, so I can't give out the website because I'm not sure if it's legal or not. But I will say, if you go search on Yahoo or whatever, and then click Blue Sunshine 1977 movie, and then select videos, a site will come up with the full version of it in HD, so you can watch it, as well as Remote Control and Squirm and whatnot. You can go over to Jeff Lieberman's website and buy Remote Control. I highly recommend you do that instead, or you go buy the Blue Sunshine. But if you from Diabolique DVD, they're a great boutique company, but you can go search it You can search and you'll find this random website. It might be Russian. I don't know. Yeah. And I also will say that there is a novelization of Blue Sunshine.
No shit.
Yes, by Ken Johnson. You can get that on paperback. And I believe Jeff Lieberman was signing copies of it when he was out here a couple months back when they did a screening of Blue Sunshine at the Los Feliz 3 or the Vista, one of those theaters here in Los Angeles. And I will say another thing I have a problem. One of the things I have a problem with in discussing this movie for people who haven't seen it is don't go to IMDb and read the reviews because they're wrong. Per usual, they're wrong. The fact that they give it such a low rating is a travesty. I really think this movie deserves a lot more credit than it gets, and we're going to give it a lot more credit. So yeah, like Corey said, if you haven't seen this and you want to see it before we talk about it, pause this, go watch it on a illegal website, and then you can come back to us because we're not going anywhere. We'll be right here.
That's right. We will be right here talking about Zalman King. Zach, you're going to talk about where we know him from and sort of what he got up to after this. But I'll say as far as like X Factor goes, when people talk about the X Factor, like you can't put your finger on like that X Factor that somebody has where you just can't look away. For me, that was Zalman King. You can attest to this. The whole time we were watching it, my first time, I was absolutely glued. I was absolutely floored. You and I were both having a great time, like, hooting and hollering when you're supposed to. Like, there's a scene where I actually screamed where you're supposed to. I call it out, in the breakdown. Like, everything works in this movie, but it all centers around Zalman King and his acting. And like I said, on paper, like some of his stuff is really, really weird that he's doing, and especially some of like his reaction shots and some of his choices about like when to bring things down to a 1 or bring things up to an 11. I think no other actor would make these same choices, but that's what makes this movie amazing, and it's because of Zalman King, and it's also because of my huge crush on Deborah Winters, but we'll get to her in a second. But dude, Zalman King, where do we know him from?
Well, I think most people know him from behind the scenes because he was a producer of the show Red Shoe Diaries and the creator as well. And Full Moon Junction, Return to Full Moon Junction, Siesta, Lake Consequences, 9.5 Weeks. He was a producer. Wild Orchid, another movie he did, Wild Orchid 2. You see where I'm going with this, Corey? All the movies that he's a part of behind the scenes.
And maybe that's the X Factor. He is the sleazy C. He's the sleazy Z. And maybe that's why I love him so much. So Wild Orchid is kind of infamous, right, for possibly having actual sex filmed like in a movie, right? Or was that 9.5 Weeks? Or that was Wild Orchid.
That's
wasn't it?
Wild Orchid with Mickey Rourke
right?
and Carrie Otis. So yeah, they pretty much confirmed that happened. And in our interview with Jeff Lieberman, he actually tells us a funny story about Zalman King and going to visit the set of Red Shoe Diaries, which is hilarious. But also Zalman was like, he was an actor too. Besides this movie, he was in Galaxy of Terror, which also gets maligned as being kind of like a cheeseball sci-fi movie. I like it. Endangered Species is I highly recommend you check out Endangered Species with Robert Urich and Jo Beth Williams, and Paul Dooley and Hoyt Axton back in the day. Alan Rudolph directed that movie. He's a notable, huge director. Anyways, Endangered Species is a good movie that Zalman King was also in. He did a bunch of movies back in the day as an actor, but producer, sleazeball extraordinaire, fan of Corey. Corey should have a Zalman King t-shirt. I heart Zalman King. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that.
I am totally down for that. So Deborah Winters, I know she doesn't have like a huge filmography, Zach, but I got to say, especially in this movie, she definitely gives me Season Hubley vibes.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not going to lie to you. I like her so much more than Season Hubley.
Me too.
Developed a massive, massive crush on Deborah Winters in this film.
Also reminds me a little bit of What's-Her-Face from My Tutor.
Yes. The tutor. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on her name too.
And
but
from,
yeah.
It's Your Move. So,
Yep.
I don't know why, like blonde, spunky, perky,
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah,
But-
I like her.
But she was in that kind of like in our sort of, wheelhouse. She was in the 80s, 1987 schlocky horror movie, The Outing, a.k.a. The Lamp.
I never saw that. Did you see that?
It's on my to-do list now, but I'm sure David Irons has seen it.
All right, David, then you will, next time when you join us on here, you're going to give us a breakdown of that one.
Yeah, exactly. But she hasn't really been in that much else, like an episode of Matt Houston, like an episode of Lottery, just, kind of little things here and there, and that's pretty much it.
It's a shame because she does really stand out a lot. It's Karen Kay, by the way, who played from My Tutor,
Right.
and It's Your Move. But yeah, and I think that speaks to Jeff Lieberman's choices for casting in his movies, because this movie, while you'll recognize a lot of people, they're not like leading man or leading women actors. And I love that. Like, it makes it more relatable because it makes me think, oh, that could be me. It could be any one of us.
Yeah, no, he picks great people across the board. I mean, I like, the guy who plays Dr. David Bloom. I like the guy who plays Detective Clay. Like, every single person in this, I love. And the funny thing is, the guy who plays Dr. David Bloom is Robert Walden, and we'll talk about him in a second. But originally, they were going to cast Jeff Goldblum, but Jeff Lieberman, kind of went, he's like, you know what? And what's on record is he said he looked too similar to Zalman King. I totally see that, but I loved Robert Walden in this. And I mean, and I also love young Jeff Goldblum. Like, don't get me wrong. I fucking adore young Jeff Goldblum, but I think Robert Walden was so good.
Young Jeff Goldblum sounds like a sitcom in the 1980s. Young Jeff Goldblum, starring Jeff Goldblum.
Or a punk band.
True. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, good call.
like a funny punk band, you know?
Robert Walden's been around, like, he's from television and movies, All the President's Men, Lou Grant, which I believe was the spinoff of
Mary Tyler Moore.
Mary Tyler Moore, yeah. He's been around, and he was on a TV show called Brothers, which I think was on Showtime back in the day. That's definitely a TV Obscura show we could cover, because I watched the heck out of Brothers back in the day. I watched anything that was on cable because it was like, oh, what's this? It's no commercials, sold.
Yeah, it's funny, if you click on the Lou Grant IMDb page, the video that plays, I mean, he's, Robert Walden is like in most of it. So he's one of the main characters on the show.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. But like you said, everybody is good in this. I mean, the main kind of quote unquote villain, Ed Fleming, played by Mark Goddard. Ed Fleming, aka Make America Good Again.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's problematic. He passed away at the age of 87 2 years ago, sadly. But he was in a lot of shows and movies dating back to the 50s with Johnny Ringo.
And
wow.
the original Lost in Space. Like, he was one of the people on the original Lost in Space. He was Major Don West.
That's a huge role. So yeah, I mean, do we get to see him lose his hair in this? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Exactly. The other villain in this movie, Big Wayne Mulligan, played by Ray Young.
He's a big dude. He passed away sadly in 1999. He was on the TV show Police Story, and he was in Coffee. You love the Coffee.
You know I do, baby.
And the Croft Super Show. He was on Sid and Marty Croft Super Show playing Bigfoot.
Yeah. I mean, my God, the connections, man. The connections are crazy.
That's actually his IMDb, like one of his profile pics in his, when you click on him, it's him as Bigfoot. I love it.
There's a nice young lady in this. She's not a young lady, but she's this next door neighbor, and I'll call her out when she pops up, but she has a massive resume as well. It's one of those weird things where it's like she has such a small role in this, but she's so prolific outside of this movie. So I'll call her out when we get to her. But
I know what you're
else,
talking about. Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah, and you recognized her too.
Yep.
Immediately from TV shows and shit. Anybody else that you want to call out? I'll call out Charles Seibert, who I said Detective Clay. I really liked him a lot. He was on the Trapper John MD series, but he was also like working on the remember the Pretender and everything, and he was even like on fucking Xena Warrior Princess. So he's done a lot of stuff too. He was in a great thriller called Coma back in the day written and directed by Michael Crichton.
Yes,
So
Michael Crichton. For those of you that are like, oh, that the guy who made Jurassic Park, the guy who wrote the book Jurassic Park. No, Michael Crichton made movies too back in the day, wrote and directed them, including Runaway with Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons.
Yep.
Highly recommend that movie.
The cover for Coma is burned into my brain.
Oh, it's so creepy, dude. Rip Torn and Genevieve Bujold. It's great cast, great movie. It's PG, when PG movies were freaking kids out back in the day. Oh, it's PG. We can bring the whole family. And then, mommy.
Do you have any other actors, or do you want to move on to the composer?
I mean, just because she stands out, Ann Cooper plays Wendy Fleming. She's so good in this. So good in this. I mean, she didn't do a whole lot. She's had roles in, movies like Seems Like Old Times, but I only point her out because she's so damn good in this. I mean, everybody is. But again, this goes back to Jeff Lieberman. He's so good at casting people that just like embody the characters that they're playing on screen.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I want to call out the composer, Charles Gross. I loved the score in this. I think it's fantastic.
Me too. I wrote that down, actually.
And there's like this, he kind of does what John Williams does, where kind of he gives cues and stuff like that. And I like whenever there's that transition. It's the Blue Sunshine melody, Zach. You know what I'm talking about. It's simple, like it's a simple screenplay, but it's really, really good.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. From the onset, the score really hooks you in, and it's unique. It's not like I've heard it before.
Right. Exactly. And he was the composer for Air America, which that's a movie I watched back in the day.
Oh, wow.
And Turner and Hooch.
Well, I like K-9 more than Turner and Hooch,
I did too,
to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not the biggest Tom Hanks fan. I know that's blasphemy, but
no, dude, you and I have talked about that before on The Burbs and on Bachelor Party. We like zany 80s like Tom Hanks. I know this is 89, but by Turner and Hooch time, I feel like that this was his transition out of zany Tom Hanks into like, still comedy, but it's not sexual comedy like Bachelor Party and stuff like that.
Yeah, he had already did like Joe versus the Volcano, which was not very good. And like, I don't know. Clearly producers and casting directors saw him as the guy. I know it's almost like they tried to make him into the new Jimmy Stewart, and there'll never be another Jimmy Stewart, and there'll never be another 80s Tom Hanks, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so Jeff Lieberman, writer, director, guys and gals, we're not going to dive too much into him because we have a whole interview with him that you're going to hear this month, but Squirm, great movie, love it. Remote Control, great movie, love it. What's the other one, Zach?
Just Before Dawn.
Just Before Dawn. I hear it's a good movie. I can't remember it. I might have seen it back in the day. I would like to watch it, but it's hard to find. Actually, it's funny. All of Jeff Lieberman's films are very hard to find, especially Remote Control.
That's very true. So, I will direct people once again to go to jefflieberman.com, his website, because you can buy Remote Control and he'll sign it for you. I just happened to get my signed copy in the mail the other day.
Oh, good.
Which is pretty awesome. And I will also promote his book, Day of the Living Me, because I'm going to do that again in our episode coming up for Remote Control. Day of the Living Me, Adventures of a Subversive Cult Filmmaker from the Golden Age. It's on Amazon, but you can get it from his website. Go to his website, and he'll personalize it as well. I'm telling you, Dustin from $2 Late Fee would joke, partly serious all the time with me, that I don't read the books of our, people that come on our shows. He's like, you didn't read that book. I'm like, I read a chapter. He's like, that's not reading the book. I actually read all of Jeff Lieberman's book from cover to cover. It's that good, and I read it that quickly, and there's pictures.
It's everything you want. My God.
And the font is pretty big too. And it's like 187 pages. You get it done. Like, I was like, whoa, I'm actually doing this. I'm actually reading this book. I'm really proud of myself. And I looked over to like say something to Dustin, and he wasn't there.
Jaffiel, buddy, as someone who's not a big reader as well, Jaffiel, my friend, and I am proud of you.
Thank you. So you'll be my Dustin.
I will.
And my Corey.
There you go. All right, Zach. Well, are you ready to dive into some fucking wild ass shit with Blue Sunshine?
I will if you will stop yelling.
1967. Doctors and scientists predicted it. Blue Sunshine.
Did you ever hear the words blue sunshine back in school?
Jerry didn't do this. Like this.
Sick!
One man must solve the mystery. The victims. Wendy Fleming, divorcee.
Wendy!
Blue Sunshine. John O'Malley, Lieutenant, Los Angeles Police Department. Blue Sunshine. Franny Scott,
I found
photographer.
just in time. Hey, wait a minute.
Blue Sunshine. Wayne Mulligan, campaign manager. Blue Sunshine. Dr. David Bloom,
Kelly,
resident surgeon.
give me a sponge! I said a long instrument!
1977. The nightmare has begun. Blue Sunshine. It could happen to you.
The movie starts with a shot of a blue moon at night and eerie music playing. Like you said, Zach, right out of the gate, the music is very noticeable and very fitting.
It is, and this credit sequence is awesome. We've talked about John Carpenter on the Carpenter Factor, but also the movies that the movies that we've broken down of John Carpenter, like Prince of Darkness, specifically Prince of Darkness. His credit sequences that he would do back in the day, in the mid 80s, I loved, where there would be like a break, credits, and then back to the scenes. This has a similar vibe to that. Maybe John Carpenter watched a little Blue Sunshine, got a little inspired by that.
Oh, my God. If we ever met John Carpenter, I would ask him, have you ever seen Blue Sunshine? I guarantee he's going to say yes. It's like counterculture movies like this seem like right up John Carpenter's alley.
Well, funny you say that. The guy that we got the doses of Blue Sunshine from, he said his name was John Carpenter, so I...
And he was playing video games and smoking weed when we got him. So
and he was directing a movie at the same time. What the hell?
Exactly.
He's a multitasker. It's amazing. Anyways,
From his couch.
Yeah, I do love this credit sequence. It's long but it's methodical, and I have no problem with it.
Agreed. Cut to a hospital, and Dr. David Bloom is popping some aspirin for his headache before he checks on a patient of his. The sweet old lady, who looks like she's on death's door, says that he doesn't look so good. She asks if he's going to operate on her again, and he says, "We'll see," with concern in his eyes. Then he gets hit with a migraine and rubs his temples as eerie music swells and the scene fades out.
Isn't that the woman from... Didn't we say it's not?
It's not. You're thinking it's the woman from Deranged who was also in Black Christmas, because I thought it was, and I looked it up, and it's not. But she has that face, sort of that rounder. I don't want to be mean, but yeah, she just kind of looks like her.
She's got a fat face.
It's true. It's what it is. She's like a 50-year-old, 55-year-old lady, gray hair and fat face, and they look the same. Yes.
Hey, whatever. It's we're all built different. And then you were probably stoned at that time, and I was not. So
Exactly. Cut to an apartment at night, and Wendy Fleming is babysitting her neighbor's 2 kids. As she reads Rapunzel to them, she starts getting a migraine. She stops reading when she sees her estranged husband, Edward Fleming, on TV. He's running for Congress. The kids don't understand why she doesn't live with him anymore, but Wendy just goes back to reading Rapunzel. When she gets to the part where the prince climbs Rapunzel's hair, she asks if the little girl wants to climb her hair. The kid pulls and yanks out a clump of Wendy's hair. She looks at it in horror as the same eerie music swells and the scene fades out. You see the trend here? There's going to be one more.
I love it. Yes, I do. And I love that she's clearly wearing a wig in this scene. But I love that. Whether that was intentional or not, it kind of actually sets up what happens later on to be more believable. And the kids are totally annoying in a good way.
Yes, and yes. And first thing Myra did, Myra became the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where she points at the screen. She was like, that lady's wearing a wig, like right away.
Hilarious.
And I was like, I didn't want to tell her because also, Myra had no clue what this movie was about. So I didn't want to say, the wig's on purpose. So I sat there quietly, didn't say anything.
Oh, that I like to hear that she hasn't seen it. Or hadn't seen it prior.
Yeah. Cut to a house in Glendale. Barbara is talking to her neighbor Richie about her husband. They're in the kitchen together. She's worried about him. Her husband John's a police officer and he's been acting strange and drinking a lot lately. He's been having a lot of nightmares and chunks of his hair have been falling out too. Barbara blows up on her kids when they try to sneak pudding she made for her husband from the fridge. One of the kids has a parrot on his shoulder and Richie has his German Shepherd with him. Both are important to the story later. Barbara goes back to venting to Richie about her husband when John walks into the kitchen. Richie gets uncomfortable and leaves with his dog as John just stares at Barbara without saying a word. The parrot flies in and lands on his shoulder and says, hello, Johnny, blue sunshine. Again, the same eerie music plays and the scene fades out. Zach, when that mom blew up on her fucking kids, it was wild.
There is so much going on in this scene, from the parrot, when the boyfriend, mistress, partner of her husband gets up to leave, and he's got that giant dog with him, and I'm like, wait, that dog's massive. What's going on there?
And the dog didn't even react when the cop husband came in. The parrot, then what the cop husband is wearing, those pants with the red shirt. It's so many things are happening in a 2-minute scene.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, clearly this sequence during the credits is just setting up certain really important moments that will unfold shortly.
Yes, and there might be a red herring in one of those 3 scenes. Maybe.
Yeah.
By the way, as a kid, I used to watch the pup named Scooby-Doo, and I always liked how the next door neighbor, the bad kid, they're the antagonist. I love that his name was Red Herring.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, that's when I learned what the term red herring meant, and then I thought that was genius.
Pup named Scooby-Doo, greater than Scooby-Doo.
I grew up watching the hell out of both of them, but yeah, I actually do have really fond memories for a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Greater than Scooby-Doo. All these people are going to be like, what?
Zach, so you mentioned, the credits. These are the 3 scenes that it plays, and between each scene, we get the same shot of the blue moon as different credits play. This time with the final one, we hear the parrot say, blue sunshine, as the title appears. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. And a beautiful looking moon. They definitely didn't shoot that on an iPhone.
It's certainly not, because we were at the beach, Myra and I, a couple weeks ago, and on the East Coast, and so the moon would rise on out basically over the ocean, and it was the most stunning thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I tried to take pictures of it, and it looked like absolute shit. So don't even bother.
Yeah, don't. We have friends that do this. Don't take pictures of the moon. Just take it, appreciate it for what it is. It'll be gone. Just like that dose of blue sunshine I took earlier. It's gone, and I'm feeling funky, but the thing that's bugging me the most is like you are talking a little bit louder at times, and it's kind of getting annoying. But it's not that big of a deal.
Your pupils also look like they might be dilating as well.
Yeah, and all those comments making about my hair falling out, it's not falling out. I take biotin.
This time we cut to a rustic A-frame house in the woods. There's a party happening, and we get to meet our protagonists, Jerry Zipkin and Elisa Sweeney, along with a few of their friends that might not survive the night. 70s music is playing, and everyone is having a good time, especially Brian James, who's high on drugs and thinks he's Rodan. I'll have what he's having. Dude, Brian James is in this movie he's in like this whole like scene in this whole segment, but he really doesn't do anything but stand there. So he really only has like 45 seconds of screen time that's important. And him doing the Rodan like impression is so amazing.
It's kind of terrifying though. And not gonna lie, if I was a kid watching this, I probably would have had nightmares because of him. His face freaked me out. He was in a movie called Crime Wave back in the day.
Yep.
And his face in that used to freak me out all the time. I love Brian James. Rest in peace. Such
Blade
a shame
Runner.
that he's passed away, because that guy would have been great to have on the show to discuss his career. But man, Brian James, so good. So good. And yeah, just for like his 30 seconds of acting and then just standing there for the rest of his scenes that he's in, he's great.
Yeah, he's absolutely fucking amazing. Franny Scott comes downstairs with his camera and wants to take a group photo of everyone, but they aren't feeling it, and they convince him to sing a song instead. Jerry starts to join in, but Frankie puts him in his place. Jerry sits down looking dejected, and it's like right out of the gate. I mean, like, I don't even know that Zalman King is the main character. It's like right out of the gate, I'm like, this guy tries to join in and gets shat on like immediately. And what a way to introduce your protagonist to the film.
Well, he stands out first and foremost for his Michael Douglas hair.
Yeah.
And also, which I'm sporting, by the way, for some reason. I don't know why my hair is
Yeah,
like
it looks
big
great.
right
Your
now.
hair actually is, jokes aside, your hair is pretty fucking solid.
It's because I take biotin.
It's no Zalman King hair, though. His hair is amazing.
Amazing. And he's also wearing a holiday sweater, a reindeer sweater.
Yeah.
And side note, this is a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is.
You'll find out at the end why.
As Franny gets into the song, he grabs one of the guy's girlfriends and starts kissing her. The guy yanks Franny's hair back, but it turns out he's wearing a wig. Everyone is shocked at his gross bald head with random strands of hair growing in patches. I mean, it's fucking gross, bro.
This is the shock moment. The first shock moment of many in this movie where you're like, I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming.
Nope. So many moments in this film I did not see coming.
I mean, first and foremost, like this happens, you're like, whoa, what is happening? And you laugh. You laugh because it's so like over the top. But what's about to happen in a few moments is even worse.
Franny looks crazed in the eyes and runs out of the front door into the night. Everyone stands around looking bewildered, but Jerry walks over to Lisa, kisses her, then goes outside to look for Franny. She follows Jerry outside, and eventually all the other dudes at the party decide to look for Franny as well, leaving their girlfriends at the house. While outside, Jerry asks Alicia if she's okay. She says she needs some honey. She drank too much. It helps her to settle her stomach. By the way, I think the Alicia character might have a drinking problem, and we'll see her get drunk in the final act too.
I mean, is that a problem though? If she, that sounds problematic. First of all, always leave the ladies in the house because, I mean, honestly, what can a lady do that a guy could in 1977? Like, let's be honest, folks, right? Come on. Hey, why are we getting canceled? What's going on? Just kidding. Anyways, also too, yeah, this like little character trait of hers is hilarious. Like because clearly nowadays people go, you have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
In 1977, you go, she's the fun one.
The three guys take their car into town and look for Franny. Jerry tells Alicia to go with them, and he'll check the woods around the house with a flashlight. By the way, I love how everyone calls him Zippy. Because his last name's Zipkin. You're going to hear Zippo and Zippy throughout this.
I love it too. I love it too. No one calls me that, by the way.
They call her Trish the Dish. Nobody calls me that. Oh, Mallrats, I love you. Back in the cabin, the three girls that were left behind are sitting by a very large fireplace talking about how weird and gross Franny looked. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and one of the girls goes to open it. Surprised, it's gross-ass Franny. He grabs the girl that answered the door and carries her over to the oversized fireplace and shoves her inside while the other two girls just sit on the couch screaming. She tries to crawl out, but Franny keeps pushing her back in. The other two girls get up and try to stop him, but he hits one, knocking her over the couch, and then he cold cocks the other one. Dude, by this point, I'm not advocating violence for women, but against women, but this was unbelievable.
I mean, it is intense and shocking.
Shocking.
This scene, Jeff, by the way, is if you're listening to this and you're like, guys, say something negative about this movie. No, there's nothing we can say that's negative. Sorry, Jeff Lieberman. Sorry, there's not. Anyways, this scene's amazing. It's so brutal and intense, but also this is a perfect example of showing a scene that can shock the hell out of you, and it doesn't have to be a gore fest. I'm not a fan of the porn
fires.
Yeah, all that, because you can be shocking and also not be grotesque.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Outside, we see Jerry walking through the woods looking for his deranged friend. He hears screaming coming from the house and runs back. Inside, he finds the three girls in the fireplace dead and burning. And this is it. His reaction is so perfectly Zalman King. And by that, I mean you have to see it to believe it. The choices he makes as an actor are amazing. Jerry goes and rips a curtain down to smother out the flames, but is shocked to see Franny standing there behind it. Jerry screams, and so did I the first time I watched it with Zach. I mean, it was like in stereo. I screamed the same time in the same way Jerry screamed.
I think you grabbed me too.
I did. But dude, this movie is this is amazing. I'm just we were totally into it when we were watching it, you know?
Yeah, again, I watched this movie quite a few times now, and I'm sure you have too with the breakdown. It still holds up. These scenes still hold up. So
yeah.
It's not a shock and done and shock and then one time you're done. Watch it over and over. It still holds up. It's still amazing.
Yeah. Franny chases Jerry out of the house and onto the country road. As the two men fight, Jerry throws Franny in front of a truck and he's hit. The driver and passenger get out of the truck to check on Franny as Jerry runs away into the woods. The driver checks to see if Franny is still alive, and the deranged bald man jumps up screaming, walks a couple feet, then falls over dead. The passenger grabs his gun from the glove compartment of the truck and goes after Jerry. Cut to the cabin, and Jerry is just sitting in front of the fireplace staring at his dead friends. The passenger with the gun appears behind him and tells him not to move. Jerry gets up and yells, "I didn't kill anybody!" And the guy shoots, hitting Jerry in the arm. Jerry runs past him and into his car. The passenger shoots at him, but the guy can't aim for shit. Jerry drives off into the night. We get a great time jump later that night, and the cops are at the house. So I love this. Basically, when the guy shoots at Jerry's car, as far as filming it go, they have Jerry drive away at the beginning of this scene, meaning this scene is happening, and then the camera pans over to the police, and we know it's later, but technically it's filmed at the same time. I love that kind of shit. Ford Fairlane does shit like that. When I think he goes into his house or something to turn off the tape player, and then as the tape player turns off, it's later in the scene. Technically, even that's the transition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, and it's not done often, but I like it.
You have to basically film the last part of the previous scene that is supposed to be, say, an hour prior. You have to film that last part of it, the car driving away, at the same time you're filming all the cops standing around and everything, because the camera then pans over. Like, we know that he's not driving away at that moment, but that's the transition.
Yeah.
I went to film school, guys. I'm sure that there's a term for this kind of transition, but I don't know what it's called.
It's called stop talking so loudly. God. Oh, give me a headache. It definitely wasn't the blue sunshine. It definitely wasn't blue sun. Blue sunshine's fine. It's fine.
An older detective is asking Alicia about Jerry Zipkin. They think he killed the 3 girlfriends. When the detective tries to probe further, Alicia says, "I'll talk to my lawyer before I talk to you." She walks away and he mutters to himself, "Damn television shows." The older man gets into his car where his partner, Detective Clay, is sitting in the passenger seat. Clay thinks they'll catch him soon, but the older detective doesn't think so. That guy Zipkin is erratic as hell. He graduated from Cornell at the top of his class, and now he hasn't got a pot to piss in. He must have had 10 jobs in the last 5 years. He quit his last one because the firm wouldn't hire enough women. Detective Clay shoots back, and then he barbecues 3 of them in the fireplace? The older detective says he's afraid Jerry's going into the city. Clay says he'll just have to follow him. Zach, do you know who played that older detective?
Yeah, he's actually pretty legendary. His name's Stefan Girash, and he was in movies like, listen to this, Jeremiah Johnson, Carrie, What's Up, Doc, and High Plains Drifter, just to name a few, by the way.
I love High Plains Drifter. So apparently he was supposed to be the main detective, and somehow he actually hurt his leg while they were filming this. Not on set, I think, like outside of that, and he couldn't do it. So they kind of had to transition over to Detective Clay.
Yeah, which I don't know. It maybe is better because maybe a little bit more believable as far as like a younger cop, because Clay looks like he's in his, well, in this, he looks like he's in his 30s, and by today's standards, he looked like he's in his 50s.
Yeah.
But because vitamins didn't exist back then, apparently. Or neither did drinking water. That's another thing, too, folks. Drink some water. Yeah. That'll put years on your life. It'll give you years on your life. Anyways, yeah, no, Stefan, that guy's great. And the fact that, he's, you'll recognize him in High Plains Drifter for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Cut to Jerry standing at a nurse's reception desk. He looks like shit. His face is covered in dirt and he's holding a rag to his arm. The nurse says he can go and wait in Dr. Bloom's office. He's the doctor we saw in the first scene. Jerry looks around Dr. Bloom's office and we see a degree from Stanford on the wall. He sits down on a mustard-covered couch. Aha, the 70s. Then looks at the suits hanging in Bloom's closet. The doctor comes in and we immediately know that they're old friends. Bloom tells Jerry to go into the examination room and take off his sweater. Jerry sits on the table and his friend walks in. "Oh, Zippo, so this is what it takes to get to see you?" The doc cleans and dresses the wound and asks how he got shot. Jerry says it was a hunter and it was an accident. He doesn't want to report it because he doesn't want to get anyone in trouble. Bloom says he has to report every gunshot victim he treats. It's the law. As Dr. Bloom walks over to write Jerry a prescription for antibiotics, Zipkin looks down and sees clumps of his hair on the table. Jerry asks about his hair loss as Bloom is popping some aspirin. "What's the matter? You don't feel good?" Dr. Bloom says the job has a lot of pressures they don't tell you about in medical school, but he doesn't do anything stronger than aspirin anymore. Bloom walks Zippo to the door and Jerry asks how much he owes him. His old friend tells him to forget it. Jerry smiles, "Well, I'll see you next time I get shot. Next time you get shot, I'll charge you." As Jerry leaves, Bloom rubs his temples and his eyes get wide.
Can we just point out, or I'm going to point out, the fact that yet again, Zippy takes his sweater off and he's got this sweet polo on, and polos never fit me like that ever back in the day. I'm like, I always wanted a polo because I thought they looked cool. Like your muscles are like bulging out, it's all form-fitting and stuff. They never fit that way. They're all boxy as hell back in the day. And now I don't want to wear a polo anymore.
I can't wear polo shirts because my bitch nipples, my giant pepperoni sausage nipples, always make me look like I have moobs every time I wear it. Dude, when I was at my fittest and I had at my thinnest, but also my strongest, two things that I will always fucking have thanks to my genetics, a double chin and fucking giant bitch nipples. That make me have fucking bitch tit moobs.
Yeah, I mean, come on, they gotta make they gotta make clothes like that for guys where they kind of accentuates other parts. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, my point is,
Zippy looks great in it.
Zippy looks great with that great head of hair, and geez, Louise, he looks fantastic. Yeah. And the relationship that he has with the doctor is so great.
Yeah.
They're like their rapport back and forth. It's very natural. That's the other thing too. Like, you know, you look at I think of like dramatic movie directors back in the 70s, Cassavetes, for example, like so good with dialogue and always feels very natural. Like you basically are just, you know, a voyeur watching a natural conversation take place. That's the vibe that this gives me.
Yeah, and Robert Walden as Bloom, obviously, I mean, like we said, I love Jeff Goldblum, but I think he just works so much better here against Zalman King. They like you said, they have a rapport and they feel like old friends. And it would have been distracting. It's distracting now when you see, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, I guess, but it's distracting when you see an older, like a well-known actor in a small role, and you're like, I know that guy. It takes you out of the moment. Right, like what, Jeff Goldblum in Buckaroo Banzai. Yeah, totally. Or I was watching Silverado, and I love Silverado, the Western Silverado. But Jeff Goldblum shows up, and you're like, oh, it's Jeff Goldblum. Hold on. And then you're not paying attention to the scene, you're paying attention to him. Right. Yeah. That movie's chock full of actors, though. Where, like, Brian James is in Silverado, too, by the way. Ah, God bless Brian James. Cut to Wendy washing her hair in the kitchen sink after getting a haircut. Her friend, the mom of the two kids she was babysitting, is rattling off reasons why her hair might be falling out. Washing it too much? Not enough sex. You know, the usual things that she read in Cosmo. When Wendy looks into the sink, she sees clumps of hair. She looks horrified. What's happening? What's wrong with me? She starts crying and screaming that the headaches are driving her up the wall. She calms down after taking a sip of coffee and then says to her friend, you know what this weekend is? It'll be a year since Eddie and I broke up. I love how her kitchen has like no personality, no art, no pictures, just knives on the wall. It's like, girl, get out of your funk. Eddie ain't coming back. That's why he left her. No personality, but she is fucking hot though. Her friend laughs and says, oh, so that's what's wrong. Baby cakes, take it from a veteran. Nothing affected me more than when the Beatles broke up. My divorce was nothing compared to that. Wendy asks, how can I forget Eddie when his gorgeous puss is plastered all over the city? And then real quick for this transition, cut to a poster of Eddie Fleming that's been vandalized. Like one of those political posters on, you know, a telephone pole, you know. But Zach, any thoughts on the scene that we just had with Wendy and her roommate? Just the tacky-ass kitchen in this apartment complex. And yeah, again, it's like, it's great dialogue between the two. Yeah. But it's funny. It's like zero personality in there. And I have to think that was a choice. Her being like, I think in her head, she's thinking, this is my temporary apartment. I'm going to get back together with Eddie. But like, we've been there. We've been in funks before. And I'm not saying maybe a year, but like all of a sudden you blink and you're like, oh, I've been in this like mindset for like 6 months now. Like I need to kind of get out of this. Yeah, because it just breeds negativity and change it up. Makes your hair fall out. What are you talking about? Why would you imply that my hair is falling out? I don't know why you keep saying that. You keep talking so loudly, making my head hurt. The camera pans over and we see Alicia walking over to meet Jerry, who's wearing a suit he borrowed from Dr. Bloom. And he looks rad. Huh? He looks dope. He does. It's a great suit. He's lucky that Dr. Bloom has a great cut for him, you know? Yeah. They kiss, and he asks if she's sure she wasn't followed. She doesn't think so, but, you know, she's like, I don't know. Sure, I don't know. They start walking through an outdoor mall area, and Jerry asks if she brought the car. Alicia gives him the keys to her uncle's Bronco. Then she pleads with Jerry to turn himself in. Tell them how it happened. Shit, Zippy, they could tell by looking at you. You wouldn't kill anybody. Jerry says, but I did kill Franny. I pushed him in front of a goddamn truck. Alicia says he had to. But I can't prove that, and a lawyer can't prove it, and I can't go to jail. Not even for one day. I'll go bananas. She reminds him that running makes him look guilty. Alicia says that Detective Clay is looking for him in the city. He follows her everywhere. They have you pegged as a psycho case. Jerry says Franny was no monster. He might have acted like a goddamn monster, but something made him that way. They walk a little further, and Jerry says that Franny used to get severe headaches. Zippy thought he was just a hypochondriac, but it's obvious they were. He stops talking mid-sentence when he sees the newspaper a man is reading. The headline says, Glendale detective goes mad, kills wife, children, neighbor, then kills self. Even neighbor's dog not spared, night of terror. And there's a picture of Johnny from the third opening scene, you know, the guy with the parrot, and he's bald with little strands of hair just like Franny. Jerry picks up a copy of the paper for himself and starts reading it. He tells Alicia he'll call her, then gets on an escalator and continues reading. Alicia yells out that she wants to go with them. She pleads not to do this to her, but Jerry just ignores her and keeps reading as he rises up on the escalator. And it's a really bizarre ending to a textbook end of first act scene. And by textbook end of first act scene, I mean all the dialogue that was just dumped on us is there to summarize what happened in the first act for people that kind of weren't paying attention because a lot of shit happened, and then lay the groundwork for Zippy's hero's journey that is coming. But what's hilarious is him reading the newspaper as he's going up this escalator, like rising to heaven. There's no gate. She could go up after him, but she stands at the bottom screaming at him, and I'm just like, in this first act, I'm like, this is perfect. I love the first time you and I watched it, I'm like, I love everything that's happening right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. She's so like deer in the headlights with him throughout pretty much this whole thing. Like, what's going on? Will someone tell me what's going on? Even if she knew what was going on right in front of her, she would probably keep saying, what's going on right now? Like if a car crashed in front of her, she'd go, what's going on right now? You know, she's so like, but she's so innocent, which is what I love. And he's so in the zone. You know?
Yes. He's so cute. Well, he did kill his friend Franny, so like he's sort of distracted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't, but he's so like
locked in.
Yeah, exactly.
But dude, another thing I hate too is at the beginning of the scene, like he's eating a burger and like he gets up and goes and kisses her with like burger like still in his mouth and everything.
Oh, the way he's kind of an asshole. Like
he kind of is.
Because at the end he treats her like crap and like makes up for it. You know, it's like that volatile. Hey, good look, guys. This is what ladies like. They like it when you're a jerk. It's the bad boy complex. He's a bad boy. She's a good girl. It works. It's a yin and yang.
It only works when you have a head of hair like that.
It only works in the movies.
Yes, exactly. Cut to Jerry parking the Bronco in front of the murder house in Glendale. By the way, Zach, this is the same street that they filmed A Nightmare on Elm Street on.
Thought it looked familiar. Yeah, sincerely, I thought it did. I didn't realize they shot it in Glendale.
And it's also kind of weird, like seeing no cars parked on the side of the road. You know as well as I do. You go into Glendale now, every single side road has cars, as far as I can see on it.
Every place in Los Angeles now does. But I also want to, point out that Jeff Lieberman had, in his book, he says that he wanted to originally shoot this in New York. And because of budget reasons, they obviously had to shoot it in Los Angeles, which is what they ended up doing. And I am so happy with that. I love Los Angeles movies. I love New York movies. We talk about that. We're talking about that right now on our Patreon, patreon.com/podcastingafterdark with the Lustig Factor. We just had a new sign up the other day. So thank you to the person that signed up. We'll shout you out on a future We'll shout you out in a future Patreon episode. But on the Lustig Factor, which is Patreon exclusive show, Bill Lustig shoots all his stuff in New York primarily, at least so far, and it has a particular look to it. Jeff Lieberman shot this in Los Angeles like he did the movie Remote Control, and it has a particular look to it. I think it fits. Like, I could see this movie playing in New York, but there's something about this scene you just talked about. I thought at first it was San Francisco when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the stairs near, like, oh God, certain like downtown areas of San Francisco. But then I realized, no, it's Los Angeles, which is so rad because I love movies shot in LA. Not the fact that because we live here, I live here, but I think it looks really cool. So anyways, in Jeff's book, Day of the Living Me, Adventures of a Subversive Cult Filmmaker from the Golden Age, which you can get on his website, he talks about having to shoot it in LA. I think it's great. That was a very long way of saying I think it's great, but my head's hurting and you keep talking.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. Just like I can't picture anyone other than Zalman King as Jerry Zipkin, I can't picture this movie taking place in New York. To me, it just works better in LA. But
I will say really quickly, if Michael Douglas played this part, it wouldn't be as quirky. It would be much more straightforward.
Oh, exactly. That's why I love Zalman King. Absolutely love him in this. So Jerry walks up to the house and rings the doorbell, but no one answers. He spots a neighbor across the street and says he heard about what happened. She's played by Alice Ghostly, who's been in a ton of TV shows from the 70s and 80s. Zach, where do we know her from?
Oh my God. Like, where do you begin? Kind of like with the detective earlier. She's been in everything from To Kill a Mockingbird to The Graduate to Grease. She was on Designing Women for many seasons. I remember that show, again, that was the show like Cagney and Lacey and Kate and Allie, where I'm like, why am I watching this show about women designing stuff? Oh, because it's on TV and there's only a few choices you have anyways. But it's actually pretty good. Like, she's been in one thing after another. She's a legendary actor. She passed away in 2007 at the age of 84.
Damn.
But she's got well over 120 screen credits, actually 179 technically, but she's been in tons of things, one countless thing after another. And she's got that look.
Like, you recognize her immediately.
Yeah, she's got that look like she just farted, or or like she knows you just farted, but you're not going to admit it. She's like, you just farted, right? You farted.
It's funny. I probably recognize her the most from Designing Women as well, because of course that was a show that I watched too. Like you said, just like Cagney and Lacey and everything and whatnot. It's like, yeah, you didn't have that many options, but I also watched it like with my grandparents because I was over at their house a lot.
Same.
But I loved it. I loved it on my own. It was one of those things. It's like my grandparents introduced me to it, but I would have watched it on my own too.
Yeah, I mean, you force someone to watch something long enough, they eventually will like it.
You force someone to listen something long enough, they like it as well. That happened when my wife Myra, I got her to love Dire Straits' Sultan of Swing as much as I do, because first few years we were dating, then married, that song would pop up on my 80s playlist. She'd be like, it's too white and everything. But then she started really kind of enjoying like guitars that sing, people that can make guitars scream and stuff like that. She's really into that now. So one time years ago, it came up and I was like, oh, I'll skip this for you, babe. And she was like, maybe not. You don't have to. And I was like, what? And she was like, no, let's listen to it. And she loves that song now. It's actually one of her favorite songs. And it just goes to show sometimes all you got to do is beat someone over the head with it for years.
Or slip them some Blue Sunshine.
There you go. The neighbor asks if Jerry's a reporter. He says he's not a reporter. I just don't understand why anybody would kill all those people. She lays it out for him. Richie, the next door neighbor, heard screaming coming from the house. He took his dog over to check out what was happening. She was the one that finally called the cops, though. That's when she heard a gunshot. When the cops arrived, they found Richie lying dead at the top of the stairs. His neck was broken. And upstairs, they found all the O'Malleys lying dead in big red pools of blood. Johnny put a bullet through his own head. Jerry asks about the dog. His jaws were broken wide open. Jerry asks if he thinks he could get into the house, but she says the police locked it up tight. Then she adds, Johnny was the gentlest thing with those kids. I never thought he'd make it as a detective. I thought he'd be too soft. I guess you never know what goes on inside people's heads, do you? Jerry asks one last question. Does she know when Johnny started losing his hair? You know, that's the strangest thing. I never knew he was bald. Cut to Jerry using a brick to break into the murder house. He looks around and eventually makes his way upstairs. We see the white tape outline of Richie's body on the stairs. By the way, Myra was mortified by all the carpeting. The downstairs landing, the stairs, the upstairs hallway, all the same color of brownish red. I said, that was the 70s, baby.
Right. Oy vey.
Jerry looks around and starts freaking out when he sees the other outlines of the family. We also hear the sounds of the murders, too, presumably in his head. Jerry starts screaming, "No! No!" Then he beats up the ghost of bald Johnny. Again, you have to see Zalman King's acting to believe it. We hear a gunshot and everything goes silent. Jerry's standing over the outline of Johnny's body, but nothing is there, only blood. He composes himself, then hears something in the closet. Jerry opens it, and a parrot comes out flying, and it lands on its cage. Cops did a shitty job of searching that house if they missed the parrot. Jerry looks around the room, and he sees a diploma from Stanford University. So Johnny went to the same school as Dr. Bloom. The parrot speaks, "Blue sunshine," and Jerry looks at him and repeats the words. Zach, this scene is fucking batshit insane, but think about it. Think about a different director filming this scene. Think about a different actor. They would have walked around the room. They would have looked concerned at everything. Oh my God. Oh no. It's horrible. Then they would have found the bird. No, here, Zalman King loses his mind. He actually loses his mind because he starts beating up the ghost of Johnny. Who thinks about filming that? And that's, if I could put in a microcosm of what I love about this movie, that's it right there.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It really is. Like, at first you see the chalk lines, which are tape, and it's a little distracting because you're like, oh, it's a little silly. And yeah, the decor is so 70s, and you think, oh God, it's so just, ugh. Like, you get that. I get that could be distracting, but once you get into the scene and it keeps going, and then when Zalman loses his shit, it's awesome.
It's awesome. God, I love this movie so much.
Yeah, me too. I wish you would just stop talking because I'm getting a headache.
Cut to Jerry driving the Bronco, then breaking into Franny's photography studio. He looks at the picture on the wall and sees one of Edward Fleming as a psychedelic cult leader.
Pause. I would need to pause you right there really quick because that is so reminiscent of, what was it, Mandy?
Bro, I wasn't quite sure if you'd seen Mandy, and so I didn't put it into my notes, but that is absolutely what I was thinking right when I saw it, is the bad guy in Mandy who like kills Mandy. That I thought that they had to have watched Blue Sunshine, or it's just some kind of weird synchronicity, but that is immediately who I thought of and what I thought of.
Yeah, I feel like that's what would happen to Ed Fleming if he continued on the path.
Agreed. And so you have seen Mandy, right?
I gave you the VHS copy.
Well, I knew you gave me the VHS copy. Doesn't mean you'd see. I didn't know you'd seen it. I thought you just got it for me because I love Mandy.
I have a VCR. And yes, I have seen it, and I love it. When did I watch that? I have no idea when I watched that. I think I watched that by myself.
I love that movie. That's a movie we definitely could cover on Pad.
I would happily cover Mandy. I think Mandy is the best Nicolas Cage movie for the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. And then, second to that is Color Out of Space, which we did cover.
Yes, agreed. Yes.
So under the psychedelic cult leader picture are the words "Blue Sunshine." And this is another great transition because the camera stays on the picture of Edward Fleming as, the Mandy cult leader, and then it transitions into his campaign photo with the slogan, "Here is the future." Great transitions in this movie, dude.
Yeah. And yeah, this scene you're about to describe is enjoyable, except for one particular article of clothing, a cowboy hat
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Yeah, I do call that out later. But yes, we see that Fleming and his team have set up a campaign rally in the parking lot of a mall. He is using a mobile home trailer as his office. He's going to have another office later, but this is, I guess, his mobile office.
And this is in front of a J.C. Penney's, by the way.
Yeah,
remember those, y'all? Remember J.C. Penney's?
There are volunteers answering calls, setting up chairs in front of the stage, and handing out flyers. We also meet Fleming's right-hand man, Big Wayne Mulligan. He tells the would-be congressman that they secured Shoppers World Mall for the big rally. Also, Wayne tells Ed that Jerry Zipkin wants to talk to him. Ed goes outside and meets Jerry and Alicia. Jerry and Fleming walk over to the side to talk while Alicia stands by the campaign door. Jerry asks if Ed knew Franny Scott. Ed says he did and then asks how he's doing. Jerry tells him that Franny's dead. While they're talking, Wayne Mulligans walks out of the office and starts hitting on Alicia. He says that he went to Stanford with Ed 10 years ago. He played football there.
Hey, oh yeah.
As Wayne keeps hitting on her, Alicia spots Detective Clay in the parking lot. Finally, Alicia says that she's waiting for Jerry. Wayne turns around to look at Zipkin, and when he turns back, Alicia's gone. She's walked over to Detective Clay to yell at him for following her. As Jerry and Ed are talking, Jerry asks if he's ever heard the words blue sunshine. This is Ed's cue to end the conversation. He has business to get back to. That business being hiring a puppet act for the big rally. Jerry tries to press Ed further, but Wayne walks over and asks if there's a problem. Just then, Jerry and Detective Clay see each other, and Jerry bolts for the Bronco. So yes, Alicia is wearing a long brown skirt, a red top, some kind of a tannish jacket, and a cowboy hat. The most conspicuous outfit you could ever imagine, and she's going to wear it later.
I've broken up with girls because they've showed up wearing something, and I'm like, that's an interesting choice. Like, it's Jerry Seinfeld moment where I'm like, I can't wrap my mind around. I can't unsee that, and I'm like, I got to break up with that. I just don't find them attractive anymore. Like, that is a thing. Look, the same could be said for dudes, I'm sure too. But like, this is a thing where I've been like, yeah, no, it's just not doing it for me anymore.
It's not sexy, Jack.
No, and her cowboy hat's just it does not accentuate how cool she is.
I know.
It actually ruins it. And Big Doof, he reminds me of Alex Karras a little bit from Webster,
Yes, the dad
Yeah.
Webster. Yes, that's. Yeah. Thank you, dude. The whole time.
Who was also a football player. He was a football player too.
Exactly. The whole time I was like, who does he remind me of? And it's him.
Why we do this show together.
Between the Mandy cult leader and that, oh my God. What's the wife's name on Webster?
Oh God, I forget.
But she had short hair.
Did he call her ma'am? Did he call her ma'am?
But she had short hair like Deborah Winters does in this too.
Another short hair blonde. She was really tall, I remember.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because they had to make Webster look small.
Poor Webster. Anyways.
Put him in the dumbwaiter. I used to watch the shit out of that show, man.
I always wanted a dumbwaiter as a kid so I could like hide there.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I thought it was cool. I wanted I only knew what a dumbwaiter was because of Webster.
Yeah, that for me too, and Phantasm too. When
Yeah, no, I didn't watch Phantasm as much as a kid as you did, but yeah.
But yeah, I just had to bring it back to horror in some way. And that cowboy hat, my God, show up in my house with wearing that fucking cowboy hat. Seriously.
Talk about horror.
Yeah, no, like, and then you got to go out with that person, and they like think they look cool, and you're like, you look so dorky, you look so dumb with that giant cowboy, and you got to go out with them, and then your friends show up, and they're like,
what's with the cowboy hat? Yo?
What's with the cowboy hat?
Oh, boy.
I will say, this brings me back to my days of hanging out with my buddies Matt and Terry, and yeah, they were brutally honest with me. They're like, no, man, no,
As a good friend should be. Detective Clay chases Jerry, but Zipkin loses the cop by driving off-road. It's a fun little chase scene.
Oh, it's great. And I love the Bronco, by the way.
Yeah.
The Bronco that Zippy has, it's so cool.
Yeah, agreed. Well, actually, the cop car is pretty baller too. That fucking engine is huge in that.
Yeah,
thing.
it's like a kind of like reminds me of Starsky and Hutch, like a
Yeah.
low profile kind of deal.
Yep. Jerry and Alicia meet back up at an outdoor mall. He tells her how the conversation went with Fleming. Alicia is the one that puts together that everyone involved graduated from Stanford 10 years ago. Jerry then realizes that his pal Dr. David Bloom went there as well. Jerry tells Alicia to find anyone that might have known Fleming back at Stanford while he goes to talk to Dr. Bloom. Cut to Dr. Bloom operating on the sweet old lady we saw him with in the beginning of the movie. It's a tense scene, but unfortunately, he loses her on the operating table. Cut back to Bloom's office, and Jerry is hiding in the closet watching him pop some aspirin. Zipkin pops out of the closet, scaring his friend, then grabs him by the hair to see if the doctor is wearing a wig.
It's awesome.
Bloom is rightfully annoyed by this.
Awesome.
Jerry apologizes and says he thought Bloom had a disease. Two guys lost all their hair and they completely flipped out and began murdering people. When Bloom asks what that has to do with him, Jerry tells him they went to Stanford the same time he did. Bloom asks who they were, and Jerry says Franny Scott and John O'Malley. Bloom remembers Franny. Jerry introduced them at a party, but he doesn't remember John. Zipkin asks if he knows Edward Fleming. Eddie he knows. They just spoke last week, in fact. Bloom used to score from Eddie back in Stanford. Jerry starts piecing things together and realizes that's why Fleming clammed up. Jerry asks Dr. Bloom if he ever heard of blue sunshine back in school. Was it a drug? He says he does remember an acid called blue sunshine. He scored it from Edward Fleming. Jerry says it couldn't have been blue sunshine because it clearly had no effect on Bloom. The doctor says he never took it. He never fooled around with acid. He only bought it and sold it to help pay for his tuition.
Oh, so he's a drug dealer.
Yep. Bloom asked Jerry, "Are you trying to tell me that you think that people who took blue sunshine 10 years ago are suddenly suffering from alopecia totalis followed by insanity?" Jerry asks what alopecia totalis is. It's the complete loss of body hair. Jerry asks if the acid could have a delayed effect like a time bomb in the chromosomes. Dr. Bloom says it could, and Jerry asks how can he prove it. Bloom says he'd need to do a blood test to check the genetic damage, but he'd need to get one of these madmen to cooperate. How do you stop someone without killing them? Dr. Bloom suggests an injection of tranquilizers. Jerry asks his friend if he can get some, and Bloom reluctantly says he'll see what he can do. And it's interesting because, Zach, when you think about what this scene is, it's, first off, we do find out that Bloom, it's kind of a red herring. He doesn't have the problem, but this whole scene is an info dump for the viewer. But it's so much fun to watch that it doesn't feel like an info dump because of the two actors that are playing off of each other and everything. It doesn't feel like you're sitting there absorbing information for the film. It just feels like you're listening to two people talk.
Again, it's great script and, solid actors. And wow, what an amazing thing you can do with a great script and solid acting. And the scene, the way it's shot, it's like there's nothing glamorous about it. Just it is what it is. It's all about the dialogue and the acting, and it's so believable and it's great. It's so fun. It's like there's funny moments, there's serious moments, there's casual moments, all wrapped up in this little 90-second scene.
And Zach, if I came out of the closet scaring you and then pulled at your hair, you would have fucking punched me in the stomach.
I would have. And, you said earlier you thought my hair was falling out. It's not. It's not. I don't know why you keep talking about that. Sorry. I don't know.
By the way, before my wife comes home, the nurse, I didn't really, I don't know who her name or the actress's name. She's kind of cute as a button in this movie.
I mean, I didn't pay that much attention to her. I was still distracted by and triggered by that cowboy hat.
True.
Wrestlers do that. Like Trish Stratus. You know who Trish Stratus?
Yes, I know who Trish Stratus
She comes
is.
to the ring with a
on.
cowboy hat on. You're like, why are you wearing that cowboy hat? Why?
That was the most I was probably into wrestling, like outside of probably the 80s with Hulk Hogan and stuff like that. Was that era of, was it Chyna, Trish Stratus? What was the tall one? The other female one?
Yeah, you're thinking of Stacy Keibler. Oh gosh, she was the one who was she was George Clooney's girlfriend at one point.
Yeah. By the way, she went to Towson University, baby.
Oh, is that why you were into her?
No, because she was fucking hot as shit.
Yeah, I mean, and who who's the other one? I don't know. That was the whole diva gen. Gee, I wonder why Corey was watching wrestling at that time. Anyways, Trish Stratus wearing a freaking cowboy hat. And I'm like, you and your cowboy hat. You know who wears cowboy hats? Cowboys.
Cowboys.
And you don't wear it with like shorts on. You've got to have jeans and you're on a horse.
Okay, first off, I don't mind it when Trish Stratus is wearing it with like cut off jeans and stuff, but it's also Trish Stratus is wearing like a real Cowboys hat. I think the problem here is that Alicia's wearing like this weird smaller cowboy hat.
It's like a fusion between a bowler and a cowboy hat. Jeff Lieberman right now is like, you guys are spending so much time on this cowboy hat. Look, guys, everyone makes mistakes in life. This is what happens.
It was 1977, for God's sakes. Oh! Cut to another Ed Fleming rally at an outdoor mall. Wayne Mulligan spots Alicia in her totally conspicuous outfit. This is why I wrote it down. Bright red top, long skirt, and cowboy hat.
The cowboy hat.
She would make a terrible spy. He watches Alicia meet up with Jerry and give him something from her purse. We can't hear what they're talking about because the scene is filmed from Big Wayne's perspective. After Alicia and Jerry part ways, Wayne bumps into her on the street. He asks what she's doing, and Alicia says window shopping. Her taste is too expensive for her pocketbook, though. Wayne grabs her arm and tries to forcibly take her shopping. He has a good expense account. That's one of the advantages when you're not getting paid. Alicia declines the offer, and Wayne asks if the guy from the rally is her boyfriend. Just then, a large 18-wheeler drives by and honks its horn. The noise makes Wayne lose his shit, but he quickly recovers and asks her to meet him at the big rally at Shoppers World tomorrow night. She can do some window shopping there. Alicia, seeing an opportunity to further investigate Ed Fleming, agrees. Wayne tells her to meet him at the discotheque in the mall called Big Daddy's.
First of all, amazing discotheque name. Awesome.
Yes.
The fact that they're going to meet at a mall, and we're going to get some great mall shots in a little while. Oh, God, I love mall movies. That's going to be an upcoming episode of something, mall movies. But, and the early signs that I'm going to call Wayne Big Daddy, the early signs that Big Daddy is now going to, turn eventually. Like, I think we kind of saw that coming, but this is a great tease as to what's to come.
Absolutely, yeah, because he starts losing his mind whenever loud noises happen, which obviously when you're trying to hit on a girl is not a good look. They don't really want a guy filled with murderous rage inside of him.
Some people like that. I don't know why. I don't know why you would say that about me. Were you saying that about me? Oh, I'm fine.
Cut to Wendy watching her neighbor's kids again. She's clearly wearing a wig and she still has her migraine. There's a knock at the door and it's Jerry. He says that he's a friend of her husband, Edward Fleming. Wendy lets him in. They go to the kitchen to talk so Wendy can put her dishes away. Jerry cuts right to the chase and asks if she has ever heard of an acid called Blue Sunshine. She says no. While her back is to Jerry, he leans in to look at her hair, but she turns back around. I love that, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
He asks Wendy if she went to Stanford, and she says just for 2 years. Jerry says he's trying to find out who Eddie sold Blue Sunshine to. Wendy starts questioning Jerry's motives. Why is he trying to implicate Edward in a crime? Why now when it was 10 years ago? Jerry says all he's trying to do is find out who he sold the acid to. Wendy kicks Jerry out of the apartment, then she goes back into the kitchen holding her head. As she goes back to putting the dishes away, the kids start chanting, "We want ice cream! We want ice cream!"
I love these kids. These kids are awesome.
They are. Wendy starts losing her mind and tries to take her migraine medicine, but it doesn't help. This is awesome. Wendy's eyes roll back and she takes her wig off to reveal her bald head. She looks over at the kitchen knives hanging over the sink while the two brats keep chanting, "Wendy, Wendy, Wendy." And I like how, like, her, it's like a switch turns on for her. Hers is like the the scariest, I think, because she becomes like a different person after her eyes roll back.
Yeah, I mean, they all kind of react differently from the blue sunshine, like it all affected everybody differently, I guess, which is kind of cool. Like they all become killing machines essentially, but they all react differently. Like would have Franny reacted that way if his hair wasn't pulled off?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. His was because he was shocked like that. Hers is it's weirdly like almost a more natural progression of how the drug would have worked,
Well, I mean, Ed saw the writing on the wall, and get out while the going's good.
Exactly.
Wow.
In the lobby, Jerry walks out of the elevator, pauses, then gets back on it. In the apartment, Wendy is slowly approaching the two brats while holding a large knife. Cut back to Jerry riding the elevator, back up with two old people who live in the building. Cut back to the apartment, and Wendy's chasing the kids around with the knife.
This is a moment, too, by the way, that, I don't know why, but people have such a hard time, like, kids getting killed in horror films. Like, it's a reality, where, oh, you finally saw a kid get killed on screen kind of thing, It's so shocking. This is like shocking, but also safe too, because the kids are kind of like smiling a little bit.
Because it's one of those things where obviously the actress of Wendy is acting, she's not going to stab anybody, but the kid is kind of smiling like, Wendy, what are you doing? It's kind of weirdly cute because I think us as adults, we know what went into filming it, and you can kind of, Zach, how we talk about chemistry and stuff like that and between people, and that's what you can feel it coming out, or people who have love for making the movie, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Here you could feel that there is really actually no danger for the kids.
No. And that's cool. I kind of like that.
It diffuses the scene a little bit, but at the same time, it makes the scene also a little bit special.
Yeah. Jerry
hears a crashing sound coming from Wendy's apartment and knocks open the door with his shoulder. He grabs Wendy just as she's about to stab the kids. I know. Jerry and Wendy fight and eventually crash through the glass balcony door. She keeps trying to stab him, and Jerry has to throw Wendy over the ledge. She falls 14 stories and dies on the sidewalk below. Jerry turns around in shock. Still holding the knife he wrestled from her hand as she went over. Wendy's neighbor friend hears the commotion and comes to get her kids. She starts screaming, and Jerry tries to shut her up but can't, so he runs down to the lobby and out the front door, leaving a trail of bloody fingerprints along the way. Again, it's another awesome bit of Zalman King acting.
So good. I mean, this is a shocking moment. Wendy's death, I think, is like the cover. Well, no, it's not the cover of the VHS box back in the day. That's like a bald-looking person with a halo behind them. That's the original VHS box cover, but I think this was used for like, I don't know, maybe a DVD version. I don't know, something. But I just remember seeing this image, and it's very creepy.
Yeah, but what about like the fight scene and everything, and her going over the edge? Like, it's really intense.
It is. That glass looked like legit. It didn't look like stage glass in the 70s too. It's intense.
And what about Zalman King running, banging on the elevator door, leaving his bloody handprints, then just like running out the front? Like he's literally like, just put your hands in your pocket, buddy. Just walk out slowly. You don't have to scream and run because, those people didn't know what happened. But now when the cops come to question everybody, they're going to be like, well, some guy just ran out of here screaming with bloody hands.
It would have been really funny if his choice was to put his hands in his pockets, walking down the hallway, this whistling, like, okay, yeah, nothing to see here. I'm just whistling my song.
Just whistling zippity doo-dah out my ass.
There you go, Zippy. There's where Zippy comes from.
Cut to Edward Fleming's busy campaign office. Wayne introduces Ed to Detective Clay. The officer says he's working on a case that might have some bearing on his wife's death. The man Detective Clay is looking for matches the description of Wendy's killer. He shows Edward a picture of Jerry and asks if he remembers him, and he does. Jerry Zipkin. Detective Clay asks what they talked about at the rally the other day, but Edward says he doesn't recall. Wayne says Zipkin was looking for work, but they didn't have anything for him. Clay tries pushing a little harder. You can tell he doesn't really believe the two men, but ultimately he doesn't get anywhere and leaves.
It's kind of reminds me of, was it Taxi Driver a little bit? When there's like the campaign.
Yeah.
Sybil Shepherd is working at like the campaign office of some candidate. Reminded me a little bit of that.
And it's another good scene with the guy who plays Detective Clay, does a great job, whatever. It's a scene that's necessary, for the movie, and it's like no frills shot, but everyone does a great job in it,
Yeah, agreed.
This scene, Zach. Oh boy, this scene is fun. Cut to Jerry sitting on a bench in MacArthur Park. While he has his head in his hands, a junkie sits next to him and starts making small talk. He calls him Jimmy Boy for some reason. The junkie does. Actually, Zipkin doesn't say shit. When a bald weirdo stops and stares at the two men, the junkie shoos him away, like very verbally violently, Jerry looks over and sees Dr. Bloom in a raincoat standing across the park looking like a drug dealer. Jerry's new BFF looks over too and assumes that that's what he is. He gives Jerry money and asks him to go over there and score some drugs for him. Jerry takes the money and runs over to Bloom without saying a single word to the junkie this whole entire time. Scene's going to go on, Zach, but real quick, this junkie just pops into Jerry's life for this brief moment.
This junkie does, and then the bald guy that's leering at them too is really creepy as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this looks like downtown Santa Monica now in 2025, actually, unfortunately, sadly to say. Because like the park I take our dog to all the time, that's happening all the time. Fortunately, they don't come over to us. But still, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is really uncomfortable and hilarious too. And by the way, the doc doesn't want to be spotted. Then don't stand outside.
It looked like a drug dealer with like a trench coat on.
Where everyone can see you. Yeah. Go in a tunnel or something. Is this Echo Park? I feel like this is
no, this is MacArthur Park.
MacArthur Park. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw, I feel like we saw this literal, so he's standing right by that bridge, Dr. Bloom standing right by that tunnel. I feel like we saw this in The Hidden, like this, like when the car drives up and hits somebody.
In The Hidden and like Out of the Dark or.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
So many MacArthur Park, it's used in so many movies.
Yeah. And there's a tunnel. Wait, go in the tunnel. Well, maybe he's afraid to go in the tunnel.
Bloom is pissed because he's been waiting for over an hour and feels like a goddamn pusher. He looks like one too.
Yeah.
He tells Jerry to shake hands with him so he can give his friend the tranquilizers. That's it, Zippo. I don't want to see you anymore. Don't come around the hospital, okay? Been watching you on the news. Jerry says it's not true. He looks over and sees the junkie sitting on the bench and smiling at him. Bloom says he knows it's not true. He wouldn't be sticking his neck out for Zippo if he thought it was. He says, about the acid, I went through the school yearbook. There was one guy on the football team. All he wanted was acid, acid, acid. Wayne Mulligan. Just then, Dr. Bloom sees a cop and tells Jerry to get the hell out of here. Jerry runs out of the park while the junkie watches in sad disbelief. Like the fact that this junkie was added to the scene and that it ends with him literally looking sad as he watches his money run away. It's genius. This movie's fucking genius.
It's so great. It's so great. And if Zipkin is all over the news, he's just out in like broad daylight. What cop comes up and I didn't do it.
Well, the whole thing about him being all over the news is going to be a lot worse with that cop later in the gun shop. Doesn't do anything.
No, yeah. Like, what? And it's not like he looks like every man. He
looks like Zalman King.
Yeah, or Michael Douglas. But yeah, but like there's only one of those guys, and come on. The junkie's hilarious. And whoever that dude was, just for that 30-second scene, gold. Gold, Jerry, gold.
Gold, Jerry, gold. He looks so sad as Zipkin ran away.
I mean, you would too.
Yeah, if you gave the man your last like $5 bills and shit.
Yeah, it's like, your girlfriend showing up at your house wearing a cowboy hat.
A tiny cowboy hat at that.
And they're gonna wear it. They're like, they think they look cool. That's a choice.
Yeah, she wore it in 2 scenes, dude. Like, I don't think they were supposed to be the same day either.
No, she's like proud of that.
Yeah.
She got up that day and she put that hat on and she
This
looked
is
in
what
the
I'm wearing
mirror
today.
and she said, I look good.
I look
No,
good.
you don't. When people, like, come on. I had a PE coach in middle school. She owned a donut shop. She
Okay.
looked like she owned a donut shop, if you know what I mean. Super sweet. She was so sweet. She was like in her 60s or something. She wore a red cowboy hat all the time. That was her look. It was like, you own that. She gave out free donuts though, so we gave her a pass.
Yes, she was great.
But like, you made a choice, lady. You woke up that morning, you put that hat on, you said, yeah.
He said, God damn, I look good.
I don't know. I bring that up. The only reason I bring that up is because you keep talking and it's driving me nuts. The worst headache right now. God, so loud.
I can see your pupils dilating. Cut to Alicia drinking a beer in her kitchen
Okay,
and calling,
she's cool.
and calling Detective Clay.
Wet hair, by the way, makes
Yep.
it look a lot darker.
Yep, sure does. It definitely does. I like how her kitchen has a cool green light over the sink or something. I like
cool.
that.
She's cool.
She is cool, except for the hat.
God, that's a woo, baby.
She says she can prove that Jerry's innocent. She's meeting a guy at Edward Fleming's rally tonight, and if they could just have the man tested, it would prove it. The detective asks what if the test comes back negative. Alicia says then she'll help him find Jerry. Detective Clay is game and writes down where to meet her. Big daddies,
I mean,
right?
I'm not going to say anything.
I might have ulterior motives for Detective Clay, and I don't blame him.
Except for that hat.
Cut to Jerry buying a high-powered dart gun.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah. The gun store clerk or whatever shows Jerry how to use it by loading the gun, pumping it, and then aiming it. You've got to hold this baby with both hands. Let it down slow and steady. Squeeze the trigger. Don't jerk it, because if you jerk it, it won't work. And he makes this like elaborate, like he puts the gun over his head, slowly aims it down. It's like this elaborate motion. Jerry tests out the gun himself by repeating the words and actions the store clerk just taught him. But when he looks down the barrel at the target, he sees a police officer looking back at him. Jerry doesn't pull the trigger, but still buys the gun, which is, again, I think even you and I, the first time we watched it, were like, why? How? First off, how did Jerry not see that cop, like, walk into his line of sight? And then how did that cop not? And it doesn't matter, because what's insane is the motion that Jerry does when he, and this, like, mantra that he repeats to himself.
If you jerk, it won't work.
That's actually the opposite.
That's not the inaccuracy that I would want to point out in this scene. But that is inaccurate. Well, whatever. What do you mean? It's that bugs me, seeing the cop there, and the cop looks at him and just doesn't even bother. Like, it's just, hey, what's up? Kind of looks at him. The guy who sells him the gun is so good. He's so funny. Like, not on purpose, but the way he describes the gun, it's a dart gun.
But it's just a dart gun.
But he's given him such explicit instructions, and I'm like, that's actually kind of cool that they do that, because I get it. It is just a dart gun, but for this guy, it is hard for him to do it.
Yeah, I think this is when Myra was like, I think he's autistic. Like,
I mean, could be. Look, we didn't diagnose it like we do now back then.
Yeah, no, I know. And I'm not saying Zalman. I don't think she didn't mean Zalman King, but I think she was saying maybe Jerry Zipkin might be a little bit on the spectrum, and I believe so.
Yeah.
Zach, I was looking for a little piece of trivia because I think this store owner or this is somebody in Hollywood or whatever, but it doesn't matter, Zach, because under IMDb, the trivia, Deborah Winters insisted on using her own wardrobe. That means that outfit, that cowboy hat, Zach just lost his mind. That means it was hers, bro. It was hers.
This whole episode is now going to be about the fucking cowboy hat.
Stop the presses. Stop the presses.
No, you don't do that. You looked in your wardrobe and you're like, yep, that's an outfit. Yeah. You know who looked cool? The cowboy in Inner Space looked cool. And that was a joke.
Well, hey, in that movie's defense, Robert Picardo is always cool.
No, Robert Picardo, like I love me some cowboy, but that's the only time I'll grant an exception, when the cowboy's standing there in his Speedo and he's like, Big Jack, don't knock, just come. You know,
because otherwise, if you're gonna wear a cowboy hat, you got to be like Tommy Lee Jones or something. You know what I mean?
You better be badass. You better be Scott Glenn in Urban Cowboy with a crop top. Scott Glenn wore a cowboy hat with a crop top and looked hotter than this cowboy. This is like the cowboy hat you got at Ross.
Yeah.
And she's just like, isn't this great? It's like it was only $10. It was on sale. Isn't this great? And people
I got it at Ross.
And literally everyone's looking around at each other like, or the boyfriend. So are we gonna go to Sizzler or what? Are we gonna?
Oh my God, that was a showstopper finding that out.
Wow, great fun fact.
Oh, no.
God, Jeff, why didn't you stop her, dude? What is wrong with you?
Oh my God, my cheeks hurt.
Get a Jeff Lieberman back on the show just to talk about said cowboy hat.
Yeah, just for like 15 minutes. We gotta talk about that.
Hey Jeff, how's it going? Wondering if you'd be willing to come back on the show just to talk about that damn cowboy hat, Blue Sunshine.
Oh my God.
All the best, Zach.
Oh, my cheeks hurt. Now we see Jerry watching Edward Fleming and his men leave the campaign office, get into a limo, and drive to the rally.
At a mall, baby.
Yeah. He runs across the street and into the office, then asks one of the ladies working if he can speak with Wayne Mulligan. She says he isn't working today. He had one of his headaches. She says Wayne will be at the rally tonight, though. Cut to the mall. Cut to Shoppers World Mall. The rally hasn't started yet, but the people that are there early are being entertained by a puppet show. Remember, this is the puppet show like they were booking earlier.
Wasn't this the puppet show that Sid Croft? So we did a little deep dive. Corey and I interviewed Sid Croft of Sid and Marty Krofft fame at Pasadena Comic-Con in May. And we were doing some like deep diving on Sid Croft because we kind of found out like the day before that we were going to interview him. So we started like looking up his resume.
During the panel, he talked about as a kid, he would do puppet shows and everything. Like that's what was his sort of first like creative outlet into that world that would later, become H.R. Puffin stuff and all that kind of stuff.
And I feel like the puppets were connected to him in some way. The puppets
These from Blue Sunshine?
Yes. I feel like there is some sort of weird connection with Blue Sunshine and Sid and Marty. I'm probably wrong, but I just feel like
I don't recall that. I think it's just the fact that like we had that conversation with him the same day. That night we went home and watched Blue Sunshine. So I don't know. You might be getting your drug-addled brain wires crossed a little bit.
I don't know why you keep talking to me like that. Oh, my head hurts. Well, you know what? I'm just...
But he did talk about the fact that as a kid, he would do like puppet shows and everything like that. Like that was kind of like his first, when all the other kids were outside playing war and everything, he was doing like puppet shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know,
I'm just fixated on those damn cowboy hats.
I know. Elsewhere in the mall, Big Daddy's, the discotheque, is jumping. People are dancing on the dance floor, and there's a DJ booth enclosed in glass right in the middle. It's quite the scene, man. And there's a lot to actually talk about with this, but you will actually hear it from Jeff Lieberman's mouth, where this was filmed and kind of the cultural impact that this actual scene had, and he gets into it, and you will hear all about that. So, guys and gals, go listen to that interview when it drops. Alicia meets Wayne at the bar, and he already looks uncomfortable. She orders a vodka martini while the giant goon sits there dripping sweat. Alicia tries to make small talk, but Wayne says he's not feeling great and the music is too loud. It's like, why the fuck did you pick this place to meet then? He goes to the bathroom to wash up, leaving Alicia to get drunk at the bar.
Wayne is, he's disgusting looking. And Alicia, is probably... Sans hat, by the way. She's not wearing her hat anymore, thank God.
Yeah, that outfit's over.
It's a new outfit now. She's looking great.
Yeah.
She's looking great, and she knows it too. But he's just drenched in sweat, and she must be talk about taking one for the team.
Yeah, she's clearly not into him, but she's got her own motives for doing this, meaning she's trying to help Zippy, even though he's going to yell at her later for it. But she's the best fucking girlfriend in the world, man.
Yeah, you know who's not a good boyfriend?
Zippo?
Exactly.
Outside in the parking lot of the mall, Jerry coats the darts with the tranquilizer Bloom gave him and loads the gun. As he walks towards the mall, he spots Detective Clay roll up and he ducks behind a car. When the coast is clear, Jerry makes his way in. Cut to Jerry standing in the shadows watching the rally pregame puppet show. Puppet Frank Sinatra is singing Just in Time, the same song Franny started singing at the party. This is amazing. Jerry blinks, and now the Sinatra puppet is a Franny puppet. He blinks again, and it's back to Frank. And, dude, I love the fact that they made a Franny puppet just for this unnecessary scene. And this is another, like I said earlier, a scene was a microcosm of why I love this movie. This is another microcosm. Why did you go to the length of making the Franny puppet? But the fact that they did elevates this movie.
Yeah, I mean... For Fleming to have this as his campaign rally entertainment, is like having, kind of a rap / rock / country guy, who thinks he's super cool from Detroit performing, on stage with a bunch of people when he's a total douchebag. It's kind of the same vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like the same as this puppet. And so I don't know who I'm talking about, but it is hilarious, first of all, that it's a puppet show. And Fleming is very annoyed, rightfully so, because it's such terrible, it's a puppet show to entertain people ahead of time, but it's such a great puppet show. And yeah, to like a little detail like that is kind of a big deal. I mean, I'm going to go all the way back to that poster that they had of Fleming with the blue sunshine back in the day. It's a beautiful looking image.
Yeah, it's a well-produced image, yeah.
I will say it. We said it to Jeff in the interview, but I'll say it again. His movies are so well made. They're so good looking, you know?
I mean, Remote Control falls under that category. Squirm is fucking awesome.
I was interviewing Don Michael Paul not that long ago. I'm really proud of that interview, by the way. So if y'all could just go check it out on $2 Late Fees YouTube channel. It's really good. Don Michael Paul, actor, writer, director, etc. But he was talking about Albert Pune, and Albert Pune was a very in the cult community. Albert Pune is highly respected and loved, right? But outside of that, in the mainstream, no one knows who Albert Pune is, which is a shame. There's a documentary out. I think it's already out about him. If not, it's coming out. I got to find it. It might be on YouTube. I don't know. I got to dig a little deeper, but I'm pretty sure if it's not out already, it will be out soon. Anyways, guys like Albert Pune, Jeff Lieberman, they make good looking movies, And Jeff's, I know I'm going off a little tangent here, but Blue Sunshine looks so good. It really does. I know we watched a 4K scan or whatever.
And it was redone. Synapse went to the negatives and did a new scan. And it looks amazing.
It does. And Jeff talks about that in the interview. But I remember the DVD version I had back in the day. That looked great too. So anyways,
yeah,
this scene, I think that's what stands out to me. This sequence you're about to see here with the disco scene, and then later on the mall. It just all looks so good.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Yeah. At Big Daddy's, a very drunken Alicia meets up with Detective Clay at the bar.
Awesome.
And he can tell, he's like, oh, are you okay?
It's so great. So great.
Because she's already like kicked back like 2 of those vodka martinis. She tells Clay that Wayne Mulligan has been in the bathroom for about 20 minutes. The detective goes to check on Wayne and finds him hunched over the sink holding his head. When Clay tries to help Wayne stand up, the goon's wig falls off, revealing his bald head. The college football player slams Detective Clay against the wall multiple times, knocking him out. Wayne makes his way out onto the dance floor like a lumbering Frankenstein monster, knocking people over and causing chaos. The place clears out and Alicia runs to the bathroom to look for Detective Clay. Cut back to the rally, and Edward Fleming's speech is cut off by a tidal wave of screaming patrons running from Wayne's rampage at the Big Daddy. Jerry grabs one of the people running and asks what's going on. There's a bald maniac in there. He's going batshit. Just then, Edward grabs Jerry. You dirty killer bastard. Then he yells for Wayne. And then Jerry says,
You want Wayne? I'll get you, Wayne. He's gone crazy from the acid you sold him, and so did your wife.
Jerry runs towards Big Daddy's while Edward stands there looking shocked by Jerry's info dump. Back at the discotheque, Alicia helps Detective Clay to the chair, but the cop's bell is clearly rung. He's of no use now.
A couple things. One, when Clay gets assaulted in the bathroom and just decimated, it reminds me of every thriller where there's that cool cop and then suddenly like who's trying to find out the truth, right?
And then they get killed or something.
Like Richard Farnsworth in Misery. And
Yeah.
That was devastating to me when he gets shot and killed, and you're just like, no, that's the guy that's supposed to live, you know. But this is one of those moments where I'm like, damn, that sucks. But
it's cool that he didn't die, though. You know?
No, I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad there's a follow up that he didn't die. So Alicia went into a men's room, and you know what? I'm not okay with that. I'm just kidding. If she had the cowboy hat on, I would not be okay with that. But she's not wearing the cowboy hat.
Wayne spots her, and Alicia has to hide in the DJ booth to get away from him. And again, this DJ booth's like in the middle of the dance floor. It's really cool, and Jeff Lieberman talks more about it. Jerry bursts onto the scene, and Wayne clobbers him. Alicia turns up the disco music, causing Wayne to scream and run out of the bar. Once he's gone, she checks on Jerry, who has a meltdown.
Jesus Christ, what the hell are you doing here? Are you trying to get yourself killed?
Alicia screams she was just trying to help. And then it's like, Jerry's at an 11 here.
Thanks a lot, Dick.
I know.
You just stay right here and don't move.
He starts to run away, but then comes back and gives Alicia a hug.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I mean, this is how abusive relationships go, basically.
Yes, exactly.
And then he said, don't put that goddamn cowboy hat on ever again.
Cut to Wayne walking aimlessly through a quiet department store in the mall with Jerry in hot pursuit. As Jerry is searching for his target, he's startled by a bald store mannequin. Jerry eventually comes across a destroyed display, so he knows he's on the right track.
Me not like this.
As Jerry rounds a corner, Wayne swings another mannequin at him, knocking Jerry to the ground. Zippy quickly gets to his feet and runs. Now he's the one being hunted.
It's cool.
Jerry runs and slips, then crawls to the Christmas card aisle because he like loses his gun for a second too. I don't think that was like planned.
No, and by the way, this is a Christmas movie.
Yep, sure the hell is.
Christmas decorations counts as a Christmas movie.
Wayne hears the noise and heads that way. Jerry lays on his back and starts going through the motions of aiming his gun as he recites the mantra, "You've got to hold this baby with both hands. Let it down slow and steady. Squeeze the trigger. Don't jerk it." This is when Myra's like, I think he's autistic. Wayne rounds the corner right in front of Jerry with the gun aimed right at him. Because if you jerk it, it won't work. Jerry.
No, if you jerk, it won't work.
That's right, yeah. Because if you jerk, it won't work. Jerry pulls the trigger and big Wayne Mulligan goes down. As Jerry kneels over Wayne's body, the camera dollies back away and text appears on the screen. Wayne Mulligan was tested and found to have extensive chromosomic aberrations and is confined to Alhambra State Sanitarium. A special task force for the United States Federal Drug Administration reports that 255 doses of Blue Sunshine manufactured in September 1967 are still unaccounted for.
Ooh, so great.
Credits roll. But dude, I love that dolly shot back, like when he's sitting over the body. It's such a dynamic like shot, and it's like kind of the only, like not the only one, but it's like it's a very, there's a lot of motion in the shot. It's really cool, and it's unlike any other shot in the movie. And also I do love when movies end with text like that and everything, and it's kind of like, I mean, even Jeff Lieberman says in the opening to, I think it was filmed for the DVD, but it was also on this 4K. But like, you know, we know now that MK Ultra, this government program back in the 60s, late 60s, actually did this shit with LSD and dosed people like unbeknownst to them. And like, I mean, no, like, this is why we have conspiracy theories, because the government does do shit that they don't talk about. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, he was like, he didn't fucking know that. He just tapped into some kind of zeitgeist, you know, when he was writing this. And yeah, dude, T to B, this fucking movie rocks from beginning to end. It's fun. It's scary. I mean, it's definitely more of a thriller than a horror movie. I don't even know how to classify this movie. It's one of those movies that is just, it's its own fucking thing. You know what I mean? And it's so much fun from beginning to end. And that's, I think, largely due with both equal parts Jeff Lieberman's directing and Zalman King's absolute batshit crazy acting that absolutely works. Absolutely works. And thank you, Zach. Thank you for introducing me to this. I am fucking so happy I own the 4K. It's a great film. Everyone fucking buy it.
Yeah, I will shout out again Jeff's book, Day of the Living Me, Adventures of a Subversive Cult Filmmaker from the Golden Age. Get it from his website. Links are in the show notes. And we'll talk more about that in the upcoming episode, Remote Control, before we get to the interview with Jeff Lieberman. But yeah, this is this is the definition of what a cult movie is. You know, Corey and I have often talked about in previous episodes, like, what defines a cult movie? What makes a movie a cult film? Jeff Lieberman's movies are cult movies. Like this one can't necessarily be like put in one particular genre. It's got so many elements to it. So good. This final sequence is great. The fact that it's like through a JCPenney's or whatever so you see like the department store. I love scenes with department stores, and it's so, like any movie that has a department store scene, it's like, I don't know, there's something so nostalgic about it. And this one has elements of Dawn of the Dead, you know, where he's kind of walking around like a zombie. He walks past the lady who doesn't see him because she bends down under the counter.
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's great.
It's really funny, you know, and then Zippy like putting the darts in the dart gun to shoot. And I'm like, this movie makes me want to get a dart gun, not shoot anything, just shoot it like targets on my wall or whatever.
Yeah.
Just looks so cool looking. It's so good. Like everything's great. The disco scene, yeah, Jeff talks extensively about that in our interview with him. So don't worry, that's coming up soon. And yeah, it's so open-ended. I love that. Like, what's going to happen next? You know, was Fleming the one did he do acid too? Probably not. I mean, he was just the one who gave it out. Who knows? This would have been ripe for a sequel. But again, a la like some of Carpenter's best movies, your imagination soars after this. Like, what could happen next?
Yeah.
All the story building after. And I love movies like that do that. And this movie does that.
Yeah, it's Carpenter-esque with its ending and everything. And like we said, this is going to kick off our entire month of the Podcast After Dark $2 late fee crossover. And so you'll get a taste of everything that both shows sort of have to offer and everything. And yeah, this one I think is a perfect Pad movie, and then I think that Remote Control is a perfect $2 late fee movie. And if you're listening to this on the Pad feed, you will get that episode. It'll be branded everything like $2 late fee, just like this episode we branded and everything like Podcast After Dark, but it'll be on the $2 late fee feed. So, man, I look forward to our crossover episodes every year. You know, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we already are crossed over anyways, crossing streams and everything, but this is special, you know, and it comes off the heels of us doing our documentary series in August, and I love August as well. I love that we cover documentary films in August, so it's kind of this like 1-2 punch of like really, really fun stuff, and then it opens the doors up into October where we have a lot of horror movies and stuff. So I like the fall, man. The fall is great. This is a lot of fun, and I love the $2 late fee crossover month.
Me too. As you well know, or may not know, if you're not a regular $2 late fee listener, my co-host for $2 late fee, Dustin, took a sabbatical, wanted to take a sabbatical from the show starting in January, knowing full well that, you know, I was going to run things on my own and have special co-hosts throughout the year. Like Corey's been on the show, Grace, who you'll hear on the remote control episode with us, and various other people. Andre Gower from the Monster Squad was on a show with me. And then sadly and tragically, the fires happened here in Los Angeles in January, and that changed the trajectory of everything as well. You know, I still hold out hope that Dustin will be back on, but you know, it's a bummer that he couldn't be with us during this crossover. But we keep it going because the entertainment is what it makes you feel good, you know, and like it makes us feel good. It's therapy for us, talking about chicks with cowboy hats, but it's also like entertaining for all y'all, and we need more audible entertainment and video entertainment. You know, if you go to our respective YouTube channels, there is video content on there as well, like 80s Kids Unite. And you're probably wondering, is there going to be a crossover for 80s Kids Unite? Not exactly, because 80s Kids Unite is going to be somewhat of a preview of what's to come at the end of September here in Los Angeles. I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, because we're having some panels at the LA Comic-Con.
Oh, sure, go ahead and just tell them.
I thought you meant you were kind of keeping the topic secret.
That's what I meant. I meant, but you just keep talking and it's making my head hurt. Anyways, yeah, panels, exactly. We will have panels at LA Comic-Con in the end of September.
That's the secret, you son of a bitch.
We'll save those topics for 80s Kids Unite when to join us. And so that will not be a crossover episode. However,
all 80s Kids Unites are crossover episodes anyways.
Right. Territory Marks will be a crossover episode at the end of the month. We always have Territory Marks at the end of every month on $2 late fee. But yeah, again, you know, you can't drop Blue Sunshine and change your world. Well, it's a better alternative to dropping Blue Sunshine and turning into a homicidal maniac.
Yeah.
Listening to our content, making you feel good. Hopefully we put a smile on your face. You guys, like, y'all message us outside of our respective Instagram pages. Like, you'll do it on our personal ones as well. And you'll comment on something you heard that stood out to you. You know, like Lee and so many of our, Paulette and all our other friends of the show. And we appreciate that. And thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking through the whole episode and going, yeah, I made it to the end, talking about cowboy hats. So.
Talking about cowboy hats and Zach losing his mind.
I don't know why you're talking about that. Why are you losing your mind? Who's losing his mind?
And as always...
Catch you on the dark side!
Be sure to subscribe to Podcasting After Dark on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can support the show by joining our Patreon page, picking up a t-shirt from our merch store, or leaving us a 5-star review. Follow us on Instagram at Podcasting After Dark. All links can be found on our website at www.podcastingafterdark.com. And join us next time for another cult movie or TV show review with Corey Stevenson and Zach Schaefer.